aficionado in your life. Now, in a moment, we will catch up with Pop-Up Opera as they continue their UK tour, bringing their own blend of music and japery to some of the most unlikely opera venues in the country. That is after they perform for us live in the studio. It's music by Pergolesi.
Signorina, signorina, v'ingannate, v'ingannate, troppo, 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 troppo in auto e voi volate, che Dio vi dico no, 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 ed un sogno questo qui, sì, 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 ed un sogno questo qui.
Oh, perché, non son io bella, graziosa e spiritosa, sono in e che brio, che brio, che maestà, che maestà.
A coste me va tentando quando va che me la fa, che me la fa.
Ma mi par che va calando, sì, signore.
E vana via,
Risolvete,
e mata sei.
son per voi affretti miei, e dovrete sposarmi.
Oh, che imbroglio, che imbroglio, che imbroglio. Egli per me, egli per me.
Non conosco se quello chiede, farmi ladri, alienati.
Signorina, signorina, v'ingannate.
No, 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 che se ben, che se ben, che se ben vuol dite no, por ma cena no di sì.
V'ingannate.
Ma perché, ma perché? Io son bella, graziosa, spiritosa.
A coste me vai tentando.
Va calando, sì, sì, e che brio, che brio, che maestà, che maestà.
Quanto va che me la fa. La ralla, la ralla, la ralla, ralla, ralla.
Mio signore,
E vana via, e vana sei. Signorina, v'ingannate.
dovrete, sì, sì.
Signorino, no, no, o
E
che
dovrete
imbroglio è per
sposarmi.
me. Quanto va che me la fa.
Io son bella, graziosa, spiritosa.
La ralla, la ralla.
Ve che brio, ve che brio.
Signorina, signorina.
Va calando, sì, sì.
Signorina, matta siete.
E dovrete, sì, sì.
Signorino, no, no.
Sì, sì.
No, no.
Sì, sì.
Oh, che imbroglio, che imbroglio, che imbroglio. Egli per me, egli per me.
Thank you very much indeed to Penelope Manser, Oscar McCarthy, and at the piano James Henshaw. Live music, that was part of Pergolesi's La Serva Padrona. I was going to say part of a double bill, but it's slightly more complex than that, of course, because it's from Pop-Up Opera, an outfit that started in 2010, founded by Clementine Lovell, who joins me now, and we're also joined by the stage director, Darren Royston. Hello to both of you.
Hi.
Thank you for coming in. Clementine, you produce all the shows. You're on the road at the moment doing what you do, which is you pitch up, you make these very immediate, very intimate events happen. How did it all come about? Why did it get started?
Well, I was inspired by my time in Italy, where I saw opera appreciated by a much broader audience, and also not just performed in the big theatres but performed in smaller towns and different kind of venues or in piazzas and things like that. And also I'd put on some opera scenes in a barn in Herefordshire, so that it came from that, the idea of doing opera in unusual spaces and adapting our productions to the different places we went to.
So the kind of antithesis of some of the things you might see at the Colosseum or the Royal Opera House in every respect. It's like strip it all back, get rid of that.
Yeah, the idea was to bring opera to a broader audience and to create a totally different experience of opera. So rather than being very far away from the singers and in a very formal environment, the idea was to go into less formal spaces and to make it very interactive, and to perform in places like caves, barns, boats, all kinds of crazy spaces.
Darren, I sort of have this image of one slightly beaten up car with all of the props and everything shoved in the back that just gets driven around the country. Is that right?
Yes, it's exactly right. Apart from
Whose car
actually
is
it's
it?
a van.
Oh,
It's
a van.
It's a splitter van, and I'm there at the front driving most of the time. With everything in there, we try and keep the props to 2 or 3 suitcases, although they kind of increase as we go to various places and pick up different props along the way. We try to make every performance link in some way to the place where we are. So obviously when we're in cider barns, we've been using cider, and then when we're in the garlic farm on the Isle of Wight, suddenly we're doing things to do with garlic. So it's sort of when we
Sounds like
get
a very
there,
nice quality of life using cider and garlic as props. There aren't many people who get to do that.
So we're like a bit like the travelling players, really. We sort of use a lot of techniques from Commedia dell'arte to kind of bring it alive and make it connect to the audience.
And make it personalised to that venue as well. So the captions might mention the venue or something to link it into to that audience.
And what it does do, I mean, because you've stripped away all of the kind of the scenery, the enormous lavish costumes and sets, is it makes everybody focus much more then on the singing, the acting, the sense of communication between you and an audience. What kind of feedback do you get and what kind of crowds are you attracting?
We get fantastic feedback. I mean, people just are bowled over by being so close to the singers, and also having a singer coming right up to them, sitting on their lap or handing them a prop. They're really getting the audience involved.
And tell me then about this new piece, which is sort of a mashup of 2 pieces. And you get, so 18th century Pergolesi and 19th century Donizetti. What have you done with them?
Well, I like to say that we're sort of doing the 2 operas simultaneously, actually, because it's a bit like when, you're watching one channel on the television and then you switch to the other and then you get a bit bored, so you go back to the first one. And it's a bit like that because we've obviously got the recitative in both operas telling the story, but we keep the stories moving. So we've linked the characters as well. I mean, the story of Rita is that she thinks her first husband's lost at sea, so she goes to a party and her house burns down. So when the first husband returns, she's no longer there. But of course, she's got no house. So we decided that's where we switched to Serva Padrona, and instead of a man of property, you've got an estate agent who sells her the house. And then from then on, the 2 stories just run side by side.
With a servant who sort of mixes between the 2.
Yes, that's a sort of silent figure which is played by yours truly.
And that came out of the idea of the Commedia dell'arte, I suppose, because when we did L'Elysir and Don Pasquale, Darren actually had a silent or narrator part.
Darren is the Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes.
He's got to get on in every production. So we're going to hear a little snippet of Rita. What's happening in the bit we're about to hear?
Well, this is, in effect, a game between the first husband and the second husband when they meet, and they decide to play a game to decide who's going to actually keep the wife. So the winner actually keeps the wife, but they both try to lose. So that's the story in this one.
The enlightened sexual politics of 19th century Italy. Very good. So music now from Donizetti's Rita, performed live on In Tune by Alberto Souza, Simon Valfish and James Henshaw again at the piano.
Sette, il primo punto è vostro, conto mio. Salto, 5, 9, reso la parilia. 9, 7, 9, 2, a voi. 6, 2, 6, 6, e 2 vuoi pur da me? No, chiusa il pollice sa. Vuoi l'aprita a metà, è una vera porcheria di volermelo rubar. Sta a vedere che un baro sia, quei che vince a non contare. Vuoi l'aprite? sarà. Minchion! Proseguiam! 6, 5, 9, 9! È vero, tuoi punti anche per me.
Non 2, son 3.
3. Allora che ho gioco son di buona fede.
Faccio davvero quel che mi crede.
Non è bene.
Che 2 più 1 fan 3. Si fanno 3.
Son 2 vini.
E non fan 3.
Ma se ne ho 2.
Io non vo' più giocare.
Ora via, poiché t'ha gioco non c'ho ne sta di sorta. E gira il puro caso. La paglia curta.
Vada pur. Se vince il giustizio perderò. E quello che ci vuol
Son io che le terrò.
Ahimò. Chi tira la più lunga avrà la moglie.
Via, sta bene.
La più lunga avrà la moglie. A voi. Ma che bravo. Me ne congratulo con tutto il cuore. Ma che bravo, ma che bravo. Ma capagliuzza d'amor, mi col gaudio d'un nebridi qual gaudio il motor, forché moglie potersi poter evitar, e ma cerco in un altro va par. Sospirata sorte, perso la consorte. O capagliuzza d'amor, forché moglie poter evitar, e ma cerco in un altro va par. Ho perduta la sventura, destino fatal, mi tornava esser morto davver, risparmiando mio morti, tuo stral, giù al ciel, m'hai fatto un piacer, mi vengono le doglie, riguadagna mia moglie. Mi tornava esser morto davver, mi vengono le doglie, riguadagna mia moglie. Me ne congratulo di cor, di tutto cuore. Mi tornava esser morto davvero. Me ne congratulo di cor. E m'eterno davvero. Io perdei quel piacer. Mi capagliuca sei più cara di amore. Esser morto davvero. Forché moglie evitare, io piacere senza par. Perso la consorte. La data sorte. Quell'arpia guadagnata. Forché moglie evitare, io piacere senza par. Forché moglie evitare, io piacere senza par. Forché moglie evitare. La data sorte. Io perdea, guadagnai quel piacere. Quel dolore. Quel dolore. Perso la consorte. Io destino, quel piacere. Io destino. Perso la consorte. Quel mio
Bravo, and thank you to the tenor Alberto Souza, the baritone Simon Valfish, and at the piano James Henshaw. Music by Donizetti there, and pop-up opera perform Rita and La Serva Padrona in Brighton on Thursday, then touring the production until the 24th of July. Places like the Bull, the pub in Highgate, a Dalston department store, the Thames Tunnel underground shaft, where apparently the audience has to climb down scaffold stairs into a tunnel.
It's safe.
It's safe. Sounds like a health and safety nightmare. I'm glad I didn't have to fill out the forms on that. Thank you all for coming in. Real pleasure to see you, and best of luck with the rest of the tour. Thank you.
Very much.
Thanks. Next, this Monday evening, Simon Rattle is at the helm of the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra. It's what many people would call